Have you ever driven through a neighborhood where every lawn looks like it has its own personal landscaper? The houses are gorgeous, the SUVs are shiny and beautiful, and you're like, how is everyone affording this? Because let me tell you something nobody says out loud. A lot of people who look rich are actually broke. And I don't mean they're budgeting. I mean paycheck to paycheck, stressed out, credit cards carrying the household, one emergency away from panic. And here's the part that's wild. Most of them didn't do anything dumb. They did what they were told. They followed the system. They got approved. They bought the house. They posted, "We did it," on social media. And then the house quietly started owning them. Today, I'm breaking down the 3 traps that make homeowners house poor. And I'm also going to show you how to avoid it. Because yes, I am a realtor. I'm pro homeownership. And I absolutely believe in owning a home. I just don't believe in buying a house that turns into a financial prison. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Lily Vallario. I've been in real estate for over 21 years, and my style is simple. No fluff, no fairy tales, and no pushing you into a payment that steals your peace. If you like real talk about buying, selling, and building wealth the smart way, hit subscribe. All right, let's get into it. Here's the most dangerous sentence in real estate. If the bank approved it, you can afford it. No, no, no. The bank approved you because they believe you can make the payment. But here's the problem. The bank's formula doesn't fully account for real life. Grocery prices that make you want to cry. Homeowners insurance and taxes going up. Daycare, sports, eating out, medical copays, subscriptions, phones, gas, and just living like a normal human. So what happens is a buyer gets approved for a payment that looks fine on paper. And then real life shows up and says, "Oh, you thought." Here's what I tell buyers. Bank approval is not a green light. It's a ceiling. It's the maximum you might survive paying, not what you should choose if you want peace. And I know the word peace sounds dramatic, but let me explain why I use it. Because when you stretch too thin, it doesn't just affect your wallet. It affects your stress levels, your relationship, your ability to enjoy your weekends, your ability to say yes to opportunities, your ability to breathe when something goes wrong, and something eventually will go wrong. So what's a safer approach? Here's my math. Instead of trying to hit the bank's max, aim for a payment you can handle without sacrificing your life. Around 25% of your take-home pay is where most people can actually own a home without becoming house poor, because there's still room for maintenance, savings, and life. And if you're thinking, okay, Lily, but how do I know if I'm stretching too far? Here are the warning signs. You're using credit cards for basics. You have no consistent savings. Every unexpected expense makes you anxious. You're counting on overtime or bonuses to afford normal life. You feel like one bill could knock you over. And if any of that feels familiar, that's usually a sign that the payment is too heavy and you're stretching further than you should. And if that's you, you're not alone. I see this all the time. Now let's talk about the trap that sneaks up on buyers the fastest. When an emotional decision looks perfect on Instagram, but slowly starts to strain their finances after the excitement wears off. Because here's the truth. As humans, we buy with emotion first, and then we try to justify it with logic later. That's not a character flaw. That's human nature. We all do it. The problem is when the emotional decision involves the biggest purchase of your life. Here's how it usually plays out. You walk into a house and it's staged like a Pinterest board. Fresh paint, trendy light fixtures, new hardware, spotless kitchen, perfect beige, soft, white, creamy walls. And it smells like a candle named Cashmere Dreams or whatever. And your brain goes, this is it. This is my dream home. But what your brain is reacting to is the pretty, not the expensive, because the same dream home can also have an HVAC at the end of its life, a roof that has a few years left, aging windows, poor efficiency, electrical issues, plumbing problems, or the very expensive surprise, the sewer line. And this is where buyers get into trouble. Not because they bought a home, but because they bought it emotionally and tried to make the numbers work afterward. If you waive inspections or rush inspections, don't really read the report, don't negotiate, or don't bring in specialists when needed, you can walk into ownership with a beautiful house and then boom, big ticket reality hits. This is where I step in as an agent. My job isn't just to get you under contract. My job is to slow the process down enough to make sure the house supports your life, not just your Pinterest board. Here's what I want buyers to do instead. Fall in love after you understand the bones, because big ticket items don't care how cute the backsplash is. A roof does not care about your mood board. An HVAC system does not care about the staging. These are the questions I want buyers asking. How old is the roof? How old is the HVAC? Any signs of water intrusion? Any foundation cracks? Is the electrical panel updated? Has the sewer line ever been scoped? What's likely to need replacement in the next 3 to 5 years? Those are the important questions. That's why inspections matter so much. Not because we're being picky, not because we're trying to nickel and dime sellers. Inspections are about predictability, because the problem isn't spending money on the home. The problem is spending money you didn't plan for at the worst possible time when you're already stretched. And this connects directly to why some homeowners are secretly broke. Because when you're house poor, one major repair can trigger credit card debt, tensions in your relationship, borrowing money from mom and dad, stress spirals, and suddenly the dream home feels heavy. And that's exactly what I want home buyers to avoid. The third trap is the one that nobody talks about before you buy. The mortgage payment that turns into golden handcuffs. And it doesn't happen overnight. It's subtle. You stop doing things because we have the house. You stop traveling. You stop going out. You stop taking career risks. You stop saying yes to opportunities because every decision becomes filtered through one question. Can we still afford the mortgage? And listen, stability is a beautiful thing. Owning a home can give you stability, but being stuck is not stability. There's a difference between we own a home and we're building wealth and we own a home and it owns us. I've watched this create marital stress more times than I can count, because when money gets tight, it turns into arguments about spending, blame, resentment, and the house becomes the villain in the relationship. And the kids, they feel it too, because suddenly activities feel too expensive, vacations disappear, fun becomes a luxury, and the family's whole life shrinks. That's why I always say, don't try to buy the most beautiful house you can qualify for. Buy the house that lets you still have a life, because the whole point of buying a home is to create a better life, not just to build a nicer cage. If you already own and realized after the fact that the payment felt heavy, please share it in the comments what you learned about this, because it might help someone else avoid the same stress. So how do you avoid this? Here are your practical steps. Number 1, treat your bank approval like a ceiling, not a goal. Choose a payment that leaves room for living. Do not buy a house. Number 2, do not buy a house based on the Pinterest glow. Fall in love after you understand the expensive stuff. Number 3, take inspections seriously and get specialists when needed. If the roof looks questionable, get a roofer. Is the HVAC old? Hire an HVAC technician to evaluate it. Sewer? Scope it if appropriate. Is the house on well water and septic? Get a separate inspector for those. Don't rely on the owner's claim that there's never been a problem. And number 4, make sure your purchase supports your life. Because if the payment removes your freedom, you're going to resent the house. And if you're watching this and thinking, okay, I want to buy a house, but I want to do it right, then I'm glad you're here, because that's literally what I want to do. That's literally why I do these videos. If you found this video helpful, do me a favor and hit the like button. It tells YouTube to show this to more buyers who need it. And subscribe to my channel. I post real estate advice that's honest and practical. And comment below. I'm genuinely curious. Have you ever been tempted to stretch your budget for a dream home? If so, tell me about it below. And if you're in Maryland, DC, or Virginia, and you want help buying without becoming house poor, my contact information is in the description box below. Because yes, I want you to buy a home. I just want you to buy the right home with the right strategy so you build wealth and you still enjoy your life. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.